Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you would get me. I am super excited for you to hear this conversation today. I was thrilled when my friend from Instagram, Lisa, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I was talking in my stories about intervals and how much I believe in intervals and how the run walk method and intervals in general can help you as a runner." And she hopped in my DMs and was like, "I could not agree more." And she came on and we had a great discussion about using intervals and the run walk method and her incredible resume of races and just how it's gotten her to keep moving. And I just love her whole outlook on running. So I know you're going to enjoy this conversation. But before we jump into that, I want to share with you, I have some Black Friday sales coming up. Now I'm going to get my cheat sheet so I don't mess anything up. So my Black Friday sales, this is what it's going to be. I am not discounting my one-on-one sessions because that's my time and my energy and my effort, but I am going to throw in an amazing PDF to help guide you through a thought process and some feelings and all the things so that we have a really good groundwork to start your one-on-ones. I offer a 3-month package, a 6-month package, and a 12-month package. So we'll give you a great groundwork to start with that and get you going on a great foot with really a lot of clarity for the new year. Because everything's going to start in the new year. We have It's Your Effin' Breakthrough round. I'm not even sure what round, but we're going to start in January too. And I am offering a Black Friday sale of $199. Usually the price is $299, so you can grab that. I'm going to have all the links in the show notes for It's Your Effin' Breakthrough, the one-on-one sessions, and the club. The club is a mental health community where we come together to support one another through journal prompts, through meditations. We have weekly prompts that I post, and also like we do special shout out your win on Wednesday, perhaps, or share something that you feel good about on Friday. It all changes during the week, but it's a lot of support. It's really low key, which I love about it because it's not a super high maintenance group where we encourage you to post every day. It's nothing like that. You come in and people share things as they're going through them, and people can sort of chime in and support them. I am loving the community. And then we also have a monthly group coaching call where people can come on. We talk about what our goals are. We talk about, wins that we've had, areas that we're struggling. We do take care of our mental health right there. So we do a live journal prompt together, and we've been doing meditations, and it's really such a nice part of my routine now every month. I enjoy them so much as just some time to sit with yourself. We set the timer in our second group coaching call last month. We did a 7-minute journal because we were talking for so long that we did a 7-minute journal, and I was floored at how much I got off my chest and onto paper in 7 minutes. The club has started off as a journal club, and I'm actually sort of messing with the idea of just giving it a mental health focus. Journaling has so much, I believe so much in journaling, but I believe in other things too. So it's going to have a more broad approach as we approach the new year. And I'm offering the first month for $11, and after that is $19. So you can try it for $11 with the Black Friday sales. And then, of course, we have our 21 days of fitness group that is starting December 1st. That is for anybody. We take any form of payment, $25. It's all the accountability, all the fun, and I can't wait for that group to start. So these are my offers right now. I'm excited to work with you in the new year and beyond, and just hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast, Lisa.
Hi, thanks for
I'm
having me.
so happy to have you here.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
So we have been Instagram friends for I don't even know how long, years, right?
Yeah. It's been
Right.
a bit,
Yeah.
sure.
And you have done quite a bit of running.
Oh, yes, a lot. I've been running for 20 years. This year was actually my 20th anniversary in October. So the Marine
Oh,
Corps Marathon is kind of like an anniversary. So,
I love that. So tell me about how you started running. What brought you to running?
well, I moved to a new town. Like I had gotten remarried and I moved to Toronto. And my youngest son at the time, because I have four boys, but when I first moved, I only had two. And I would drop my younger son off to kindergarten, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to try to find something to do for myself. So I started walking every day. And then some of the other moms had recognized me. And so we started walking together. And that was right when the kids started school in September. And then by January, we had another friend that said, oh, let's join a Learn to Run clinic. So we did, and then by March, I had joined, and I'm always the slowest person to finish. So we were just running to be social. It was never anything other than that. Yeah. And so by March, somebody had invited us to join a group of women runners only, and they're like, "Yeah, you could join this group, and then we'll run a marathon in the fall." And I'm like, "I'm not running a marathon." Like it was excuse me, it was just so bizarre. And but I wanted the social aspect of it, and it was something that I was excited because I wanted to see how far I could run. And I had always thought that you just did straight running, but this group of people taught me that run walking was good. And so I joined in March, and then by October I ran a marathon. So and I did it by run walking. And I think because of the run walking, I've been able to run this far, like 20 years later, without like, I mean, I've had injuries over the years, but nothing to where like I couldn't do it. So if I am injured, I'm still run walking because it helps, right? Like I'm not putting a lot of strain on my body. So yeah,
So,
that's basically it. So
so
lots of
was your
races over the
first
years and stuff.
was your first marathon Marine Corps?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yep. And we drove down with like because I was living in Toronto at the time, and we went down with like I would say there was probably like with spouses and everybody. We had a giant group photo. There was probably over 100 people that went, and our husbands got to see like who we were spending all of our time with. But it was such a great experience because we built community, and there were women of all different stages of life. And so I was one of the younger runners, and I really loved it because you just kind of got a glimpse into what could be coming for me, like as I age and whatever. And but everybody supported one another. It was never who was faster or, and then people always waited for you. And I really, really loved it. It was life changing for me when I started doing it. So, and I've moved around a lot, and everywhere I went, like I will seek people out. But now it's kind of funny because as I'm getting older, I am that person that I looked up to when I first started running. So like I have like the knowledge. I've never gotten faster. I'm always in the back. I'm always finishing towards the end, but I just think it's great because I just never would have imagined that I would have been doing this because I just had a birthday. So it's great. I love it.
So now, how do you think that, because I love that you started intervals initially, right? Like right out, that's how you learned
Mhm.
how to run. And you really credit
Yeah.
that to being able to be strong and out there now still. And probably, I would imagine that it's helped your mindset around being in the party pace and just being out there and celebrating movement.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like um I've changed, like I've done different intervals depending on like what was going on in my life because I did have two more children. And so to get your body back to where it needed to be, and then but like there's no shame in walking, right? Like I've walked a marathon before. It wasn't fun for me, but I still walked because I'm just a slow, like I have short legs. Okay, like I'm slow. but I really think it's helped with wear and tear on my body because you do age, and a lot of people. I mean, I do other things besides just running, but I love being out there and meeting people. And I always say that I like to get my money's worth when I sign up for races, and so I'm out there a long time. But I just like I'm not. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I've done races where like I've been faster and whatever, and it just for me personally, it takes a toll on my body. And so this just I want well-rounded fitness. So it's just for me, it's a way to where I can do all those things and not be beating up my body. Because like I'll see some young kids, I'll say young, because I have 20 something children now, but they're like, oh, I didn't train and I ran, and I'm like, oh no, you know, like I want to do this until I don't, as long as I can, 80s, 90s, like. And so I'm okay with that though. And I encourage everybody to do it because a lot of people say, oh, I could never do that. And I'm like, I bet you could. You follow a training plan and you do some run walking, and you could be somebody who's never run before, and you'd be able to finish and meet your goal. And
It's
again, there's no shame in walking too.
mentioned about the resistance to it because it fits both goals, right? Like it
Hmm.
helps you it helps me to be faster, right? And to
Hmm.
maintain a faster pace during my higher or faster interval, but it also feels so much better. So I feel like
Oh
where
yeah.
why would this ever be bad, you know?
Well, see, I had hired when I decided to do ultra marathoning, I hired a run coach. Like I looked specifically for people that did run walking, and for all those people that can run those super far distances, that's great. I didn't want to do that because I wanted to take the experience in, but he did the same thing. He was a run walker, and he also qualified like Boston qualifiers run walking, and I don't think people realize that. And it's just like what you said, like if they could just get that little walk break in there, it gave them the momentum to keep going, right?
Oh, oh my gosh, my headphones are dying. Sorry about that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
take my headphones off now. Yeah.
I learned that I don't know what year that was, and actually I should ask my friend Mike. He's always listening to the podcast, but he I remember he taught me this because he does the guiding for Achilles athletes, and he himself is a
Hmm.
pretty fast runner himself, but he was running with someone with Achilles, the New York City Marathon. And the people who
Hmm.
guide for Achilles, as far as I know, they train the way that the athlete that they're running with trains. And that particular athlete was running with intervals. And I remember Mike telling me after the fact that he himself PR'd from doing that, and he had never himself
Yeah.
done intervals before. And my mind was blown because I was like, holy shit, if somebody who is a quote unquote fast runner can PR with run walk intervals, like where is this discrepancy? And so I really hate the narrative of like, oh, I walked, or like, or you hear beginner runners like, I just want to run the whole race, and I'm like, why?
Yeah. I know. I know. And like I can remember like a lot of like, there used to be a lot of stigma out there and it's with anything that you do really, right? But like I remember I had gone to a race before and it was my first dopey or not dopey, goofy challenge at Disney World. And so I was on the bus and a lady had got on and it was my mom's first half marathon that she had ever done and we were going to walk it together, but the lady had got on the bus and she looked at us and she said, oh, there's a lot of beginners here. And I was like, by then I'd already run 2 marathons, but it's like running, it's any shape, any size, any pace. And but when I, for instance, when I did my ultra runs, you had to do 3 back-to-back 20 milers in a weekend, and I finished it strong because of those intervals. And I felt so good after. I mean, I was a little bit tired because anybody would, that's a lot of mileage, right? But I credit that to the interval training. And you can adjust it. Like if it feels too hard, you don't have to run that. Or if it feels too easy, you can increase it. Um, it's magical, in my opinion, you know?
No, I agree.
Um, but but there's a lot of runners out there who they will say that you're not a real runner. I mean, I've heard it all. Over 20 years, you hear a lot of things. I read about it on the internet a lot too. And I remember um, I ran 3 marathons in 2022 in 6 weeks. And I was turning 50. And so the New York City Marathon was the day before I turned 50. So I was like, oh, this is my last race in my 40s or whatever. And I credit the run walking to all of that, because you have somebody who's, a little bit older, and you have to like take care of yourself, whatever. But um, I took it all in because it was magical. Like, I remember when my mom and my grandmother were like my age and they were not doing this. And so um I don't know, it's awesome. When I first started doing it, I used to do like 10 and ones. And then I learned to do it at a running store in Toronto. And then I was told the reason they did that was because they learned it from Jeff Galloway. And then when I moved closer to the States again, I started following Jeff Galloway. He had shorter walk breaks. And so I'll always do the 30-second walk, but I've done it all. I've done 2 minutes, I've done 1 minute, I've done 30, I've done 15, I've done 10. But it just works. And I've hardly been injured over it, you know?
Well, and I think what's so cool about it is that it's sort of like you can mess with it. I've messed with it during, like, marathons where it's not so much that I don't want to walk, but having the intentionality behind the walk makes
Yeah.
it feel better, right? Like, because you're not,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been in races where you do want to run the whole time and then the walk feels defeating, right? Like you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't go any
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
And so when you have the intentional walk breaks, even if you mess with where they are, right? Like what the interval is, it just feels like I'm still doing what I set out to do, right? It has this like, you just
Mhm.
feel better about it. So it's not like, oh, I'm defeated
Yeah.
and I'm walking. I'm walking right now. This is my walk break.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
I do understand from a runner's perspective how it can be difficult to shift that, especially if you're in like a bigger marathon, let's say. Those people are screaming at
Oh,
you to
yeah.
keep going. And sometimes it's
I know.
frustrating because you're like, I am fucking going. I'm walking right now. This is
I
an
know.
intentional walk break, but the people don't get it. So
Yeah.
like there has to be more dialogue about run walk, about the runner taking ownership of exactly what that is, and also from the spectator standpoint. But I mean, I think more conversations
Oh,
that
for sure.
facilitate that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, the bigger marathons, I always get those comments too, like, don't walk, like, keep running. And you're like, this is very intentional,
Don't
you
give
know?
up.
But like,
Like
have
I'm
you
like
ever
I'm
been in a
not
race?
giving up. My legs are
Oh,
moving.
yeah. I know. I know. But have you ever been in a race and like, it's because it's always your mind that it interferes with how you're feeling. And then it's like, because you've been consistent and you've been doing those run walks, sometimes your body just knows that walk break is coming up, and you could tell yourself anybody could run for 15 seconds, and then you just keep going, right? um, but like I belong to, well, I used to belong to a gym, and because running, we're in a running boom again. And the younger kids that were at the gym, I was like, you could get to that goal if you added a walk break. I can bet that that would happen. And someone did, and it really, really helped. And they shaved like 5 minutes off of their time or something. And I'm like, see, that's great. And I know their hips probably weren't as sore as they were when they ran it like the year before. But I mean, if we're out there exercising, we might as well have some fun and feel good. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's not a failure to walk. And, you know, and if you get into like the ultra distances, there's a lot more walking than there is running anyway. But it's so much fun. And everybody that I've met through the ultra community, everybody walks too. So there's no sort of like stigma with the intervals there. Everybody does it. It's just, we're going through that thing again, and everybody's like, oh, you're a failure if you don't do it, but you're not, because you're out there doing it. So, and do it your way and you'll have fun. You know what I mean?
I feel
Because,
like I feel
you
like
know,
I feel like everyone should go to an ultra or participate in an ultra, even like to volunteer just to see how different it is than road racing, because it's a totally different
Mhm.
mentality, even like nutritionally, and the mindset, the walking, there's just it's such a different experience that I think a lot of people don't
Oh yeah.
understand.
Oh yeah. It's a lot. It was fun. Like when I figured out how to start fueling for those races, I felt much better. Because, again, like ultra distances, you're out there longer. So if you're a back of the pack person, you could be out there longer, but it's like you really have to learn how to eat and not be afraid of all the eating because you need to be able to keep going. Like you're sometimes running more than 24 hours for the longer ultras. And then once you can sort of figure that out, it's much better. But people are so like kind and they just want you to succeed because they know it's like long and it can be really hard sometimes. And not to discredit the marathons because there have been marathons where it felt worse. You know what I mean? But but yeah, so it's always being consistent is important as well. But I don't know. I could just keep talking. I love everything about running. Like it's been
What's the
wonderful,
longest
like
distance that you've done?
um well, it was a 100-mile race. I've done it twice, but the distance ended up being like 105 miles, not just 100. And the first year, yeah, oh, I have two. And the first year, my feet were so bad. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Like I didn't have experience on what would happen to my feet. And I learned, and then I went out the following year and I did it again. And my feet were still beat up, but not like they were the year before. So that's important because you don't anticipate how much your feet will swell in an ultra
Should
race.
you
Oh, it was terrible.
take care of your feet?
Um, I changed I changed my socks more often. And then I wore gaiters over top of my shoes to prevent like sand and things to get in them because I went it was a road and trail, like a little bit of trail, and then it had really fine gritty sand and I couldn't get it out of my shoes and so it literally tore the bottom of my feet up and then your feet swell up, right? So it's like you always get bigger running shoes, but my feet were to the limit and they had never gotten like that during training. But and then, yeah, because fueling and everything was really good for both races. It's just you get to a point and then you have to problem solve. And it's good if you have a group of supportive people with you. Because, like, for me personally, like after 45 miles, I can't eat solid food. It's really hard. And I don't know if you've ever done a marathon where you're just sick of eating gels. So for the ultra, sometimes if you have sweet, you just start rejecting it. So I had to learn to get unflavored things to sort of help me along the way. And Coke, regular Coke is a good friend when you're doing ultras.
And
Um,
I mean, I've never done,
yeah. Oh,
I like to be clear that I've never done an ultra. I've done an ultra, a race at an ultra event. I like to be clear about
oh yeah.
that.
Yeah. And yeah, so and that's the other thing like with as far as like run walking sometimes people don't realize that you have to eat for your races and you'll have a better experience, right? Because you could blame it on like the weather whatever but if you're fueled properly and you're consistent then you're going to have a much better race experience for sure you know um and but yeah so I wanted to sign up for a further distance but then there's the issue of like cutoffs. So if you like for me, if I wanted to sign up for a race, I just have to kind of work on like speed to try to so that doesn't happen because the cycle for training for ultras is a long time. And if you don't finish, that's okay, but it's just you have to know what you're getting yourself into. Probably just like an ordinary race. Like you just want to look to see what the cutoffs are to make sure you don't go and then you're disappointed because the race course cut off before you could get there. Because anything can happen on race day.
I know.
So
Actually, speaking of MCM, I saw some controversy about that this year about the cutoffs, and people were upset that there are cutoffs. But the people in the comments are like, they are very clear about what you have to
Oh
do
yeah.
in order to get through the certain checkpoints. And I think a lot of people
Yeah.
don't understand from like a race director standpoint, you know, there's police, there's road closures, like there's things that they have to do to
Oh
keep
yeah.
people safe. So it is really important to look
Mhm.
at the information of any race that you're signing up for to make sure it is a doable one for you.
Oh yeah. And like the world marathon majors, like what you're doing, um, some courses will be open for everybody to finish, and
Oh,
they'll just have
Lord.
you go on the sidewalk. And Chicago too, like,
Oh, yeah.
because I've done Chicago a bunch of times, but like the race after the pandemic, they shut the finish line down, and then they had people go like on the sidewalk around, so you couldn't run under the banner, but they had a timing mat, so you were still able to get your star. It just wasn't the big to do. And then the following year, they left it open for everybody. But if you, I know Berlin is really strict on their time.
Tokyo is
Tokyo is really strict on their time. Yeah. And so I know everybody wants to do those as well. But I think just the bigger cities, it's logistics. Like you have to open everything back up, you know? And then the other thing too is if you're a slower runner, you just have to be cautious because if when they close down, you have to have what you need, like you're self-supporting, which is kind of like an ultra, because ultras you have to self-support sometimes in certain sections. So yeah, so you have you done all of your marathon majors straight running, or do you do intervals for
I
your
do
running?
intervals. Yeah, I do intervals.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
I think so Chicago, it's funny, Chicago, I love intervals. Sometimes I convince myself not to use intervals, which is stupid, but that's sort of my brain sometimes. And I think Chicago, I was feeling so good and I was feeling myself and I didn't use my intervals as I had trained and it screwed me. So it's also really important to use the training that you've trained with, and I always use intervals when I run. So I should always use them race day.
Yeah,
But that one in particular, I didn't fuel early enough and I screwed up my intervals and it ended up costing me. I mean, it was fine. I enjoyed the day and it was perfect, but
yeah, yeah. I
sometimes
know,
you get
like,
in your head about I can PR, it's a flat
oh yeah.
course.
Yeah, and I think too, like with the bigger start lines and things, like like you said, if you that's what you did in training. And so I know like a lot of beginning runners and whatever, it's like if you're going to use intervals, try to use them right for the beginning. You'll just feel better. But I think we all get caught up in that start line, like we're all excited and everybody just like starts running way faster than what they should be. But yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So and then be
even like on a course, sometimes for me, if it's so compact and tight, it's hard to walk from the beginning. Or,
oh yeah,
you know, I usually do
yeah.
like a 4 minute or a 4:30 interval. So it even sometimes like I did a 5K this weekend. There was like there's no space to stop right now and I wasn't gonna have people run me over. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna keep running. I mean, it's a 5K, I'm not gonna die. But I think sometimes you're like, what am I gonna do here and how am I
Oh
gonna
yeah.
make this work, you know?
Yeah. Well, I know that like I broke my ankle. Oh gosh, it's been a while, but like I had to wear an ankle brace to run for a little bit. And then I always try to stay to the side just because I don't want people crashing into me. And sometimes people don't understand the intervals. You'll be in a race or whatever, and they'll be like, get out of the way. And so I try to stay to the side so I don't get run over. I've always just done that, right? And then yeah, and but do you know, being a slower runner, people still run into you when you're on the side and they get so upset. So that congestion is real at the beginning of a race. Like everybody's trying to do the right thing mostly. And it's crazy. But then that gives us stories to tell, right? Like you'll be like, "Oh, someone came to say hi and my phone got hit out of my hand and I had to go get it somewhere." You know. It's crazy. It's like we're just chill out. We're all going to get there, you know. Everything will be fine.
Disney, where it's like the home of intervals. I felt like the
Yeah.
bad guy runner there because I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we all in a line of
Yeah.
walkers? Like, there has to be
Yeah.
some middle ground where we like come together on a race course because I was like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was wild there.
Oh, yeah. That's there's a lot of repeat offender thingies there. I just find that like with the running boom, and then Disney has always been this like big attraction. Like I've been doing Disney races since 2011, and it's really gotten huge, right? And so there's not a lot of room on those roads. And so you just have to sort of like be strategic, because you also like, you know how like they have the cone alley at some of the races and stuff? You want to go around. Like I've seen people wipe out going around the cones. I've seen people wipe out because they stepped off of a sidewalk. And so I'm hoping that they'll get better with it. Um, so people can have fun, because there's a lot of narrow places at Disney that are just awful. And the pace people, if you're in the back, they it doesn't matter. Like the pace is the pace, right? So it's
Yeah.
like we're all trying to, get past there. But yeah, I've seen a couple of accidents on the Disney race course over the years, because we're like walls, like construction in the parks, and then you just come to a dead stop and there's like nothing you can do. You're just like, okay, we're in the most magical place on earth. We're gonna be fine. And people are just like raging. So
So are you still doing Disney races? Have you done Dopey?
yeah, I've done Dopey, I've done Goofy, I've done all the race weekends. I never went to Paris. I didn't do that one, the Castle to Chateau, but I for like a long time, like I couldn't find anybody to run with when I moved again. So Disney was sort of like my bounce back from pregnancy thing. And so I've always gone there. And so like each year, when my boys turned 13, I would take one of them with me to Disney, and it was like our time together sort of thing. And so they've all done like 5Ks over the years. Um, and so and now it's like, okay, so now they're grown and they're like, okay, see you later, mom. You go have fun at Disney or whatever, which is weird. But maybe when they have kids, I'll take grandchildren down there or something, and we'll do that stuff together. But yeah, I love the dressing up aspect at Disney, and I love just seeing friends, like internet friends, like none of us live by one another. We'll go down there, and it's just nice, because those are the internet friends are the ones that are cheering on all your races, like throughout the year. And then it's kind of like a reunion. You go there and you have fun together. So that's always a nice aspect of it.
What is
But
your next
but
race? What do
yeah,
you have coming up?
um, I'm signed up for Princess. The Princess Half Marathon. I was signed up for Dopey, but I decided I'm not going to go in January. I was fundraising for American Cancer Society, so my fundraising link is still up, but I have some things going on, and so I just can't leave this year, which is going to be so sad, because I haven't missed marathon weekend in so many years. Probably COVID was the only time I missed, but yeah, I'm not really quite sure where I want to try some different things this year, I think, because it's getting harder to get into the bigger races. And yeah, it just depends, I guess. Like I always wanted to run the grandma's marathon.
Oh yeah, I've heard good
Um,
things about that.
yeah. And then like maybe do some big short races, like like there's one in Georgia, like I see my friends do every year. I don't know if they closed registration for that one. Yeah, I saw that. That looked like fun. Um, it's always really warm, but my friend makes it look like it's really fun online. So, and probably some Disney races. Um, there I could do a local ultra here, but
Where?
it's just the ultras take a lot of moment. I live in Windsor, Ontario, so it's the border of Detroit and Canada.
Have you done
And
the Detroit
we
race
have a
from
race.
us?
Yep,
Oh, you did.
yeah,
Tell me about that.
the international one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. I've been doing that one for a long time too, and it's really grown the last little while, which is really fun. And it's a good local hometown race for us. So I I'm American, but I live in Canada, and I really love running back into Canada because the strip that you run down, there's so many friendly faces out there with like treats and all kinds of things. It's really fun. But running over the bridge and through the tunnel is pretty cool because you can't really say too many races do that, right? But they've redone downtown Detroit, and so it's so fun now, right? So everybody comes out, like, it's just a really big party, but it's not like a world major or anything like that. It's just a fun time. Lots of music. And so if you like Motown, that's a good race to come to.
It's fun. So give me like a
Yeah.
rundown. So you have 200-mile buckles. How many marathons have you done?
Yeah. I've done 18 marathons,
Wow.
and so 200 milers. I ran 45 miles and 50, I want to say 56 miles. And I don't know how many half marathons. There's probably over 100 half marathons. And then, 5Ks, 10Ks. But the big races I did after I turned 50, which is crazy. I didn't do any ultra marathons until I was over 50. So, and
So
if you ever sign up for Dopey, that literally is an ultra marathon. So,
100%. Yeah, I have
so
my friends are doing it in January for the first time. They're very excited. We're very excited for them.
they're going to have fun. Yeah.
Yes.
The
And
hardest part about Dopey is the sleep. Yeah,
yeah,
it's lack of sleep. By the fourth day, you're delirious, but you just gotta get to the finish line, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I feel like I have I think a lot more confidence in them than they may have in themselves, but they've been doing these Disney
mhm.
races like this is they're doing a perfect season this year, so I feel like they're used to the
Oh,
lack of sleep.
nice.
They're used to the whole thing,
Sleep.
you know? Yeah, they just have to
Yeah,
put it all together.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And like I said, because you're delirious on that last day, you're just like, you just have to put one foot in front of the other and you'll get to where you need to be. And then it's funny because everybody's so tired. And then once they cross the finish line, everybody goes out and celebrates, right? So it's like, oh, what did I just do? You don't even feel it, right? You're like on a high for like a long time. And you should do that one.
I definitely want to. I mean, I've looked at the
Yeah.
registration before, and then I always get scared at like $900 for one race. So I'm like, well, not doing that now.
Yeah.
But I'll do it.
See, and that's the thing. Yeah. It's worth it just to see how far you can go. And like I said, if you end up walking more than you want to, that's okay too. You just have to
Yeah.
keep moving forward, right?
And
Just keep
and
moving forward. And
that's what
the
I love about Disney and Run Walk is that's the idea, right? It's joyful movement. And I always
yeah.
say to people like until you get used to the party pace or the party at the back or just that incredible gratitude for moving your body, you don't get it and you miss so much. And I get it. Like I respect people who run
Yeah.
fast and they get amazing they do amazing things, but there's just something to be said for just taking it all in, being kind to your body and enjoying, what you're doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like when I did my first 100 miler, I had a friend that was with me and she wasn't doing the whole thing. Like she had broke up the race into chunks in previous years, but her goal was just to do 20 miles and then maybe finish the race course up other days. But because she had done it before, literally she was like a tour guide for me, just explaining everything because she didn't have to like use all that energy because she wasn't running such a long pace, right? Or a distance, I mean. So but that's always nice to know too, because I notice I'll ask my friends, "Oh, did you see this?" And a lot of times people miss that stuff. That's why I run walk to take everything in so I can experience it. Because I like to travel to, I'll say, I'm going to run this race, but it gets me to be able to see things I normally wouldn't have like visited, like places or whatever. So that's always fun. Yeah, that's always fun.
You get a whole tour
Yeah,
of DC.
I know, it's fun. Well, I haven't done it in a while. I don't know if it's the same race course. I would imagine it would be.
I don't know either.
Um, it was so funny. I was looking at a picture. I was like reminiscing about stuff, and I have my picture taken in front of the monument, like, at the end of the race or whatever. And I was looking at it, and I'm like, who told me to pin my bib all the way up here running my first race? I was like, oh man. But, you know, it's a moment in time, and it was a fabulous experience. And I was not the last person to cross the finish line, which there's nothing wrong with that. But your first race, it's unforgettable. It's because it's like, this is what happens. It's like you're a runner until you cross your finish line, and then you're a marathoner. You know what I mean? So it's like it's magical. Like it's, you know, and I remember that like it happened yesterday. Like I've done lots of things in between, but that first time, you're just like, wow, I can't believe I did that. And you take that with you and you just keep moving forward in life, right? Like it teaches you a lot about how to move through hard things.
Absolutely. I mean, that's
So
why I argue with my brain all the time. I'm like, I know running isn't for everyone, but it is for everyone. You should just try
I
it.
know, right? I always tell everybody too, I'm like, just try a little 5K, just do a 10K. And then before you know it, I'm like, okay, you should sign up for a half now, you
Yeah.
know. And
Because you're
I
right.
understand
It's
people
that
are like,
sense of accomplishment. It's that belief in yourself. And it's that, that grit that you have to learn. You have to learn how to push yourself. And then the community around you, like there's nothing that's bad about it, except for when it sucks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's also like you're all moving through it together, right? Like
Yeah.
you're all moving through it. And like even though I ran like Marine Corps 20 years ago, I still can talk with somebody and say, oh, like this was, and then you just kind of get caught up in it and it's really fun, right? Or one year there was a torrential downpour at Disney and they call it the splash and dash. People still talk about that experience. Or the first year we had a spinner medal and the spinner broke. Like you just have all those things. And I know because I've done the Chicago Marathon so many times, I collect the posters that they give you, like at the expo. So my first poster said to hell and back. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how the marathon felt, to hell and back, you know. But those are like battle wounds, you know what I mean? Like they're battle wounds. And so I just
Always get mad at me because they're like, Melissa, you always say that you love this race and this race sucks. It's hilly or whatever. And I just remember, I think that feeling of community and the feeling of accomplishment and that there's just no bad race because whatever sucked you learned from, hopefully. When you were saying that you put your bib up here, like half the time I look at old pictures and
yeah,
I'm like, why was I wearing that? Like, or what the fuck? Like, what is happening? Like what? But you learn from it all, and you become stronger and better and wiser, hopefully.
yeah. I mean like and for me now it's just like being consistent and so I can still participate in these things or whatever. But I remember I used to read like Runner's World magazine when it was just a magazine and not like online or anything. I was like, oh, this is great and it's motivating me and whatever. And I kind of get that from like the online community and stuff now. And then the year I ran New York City, the day before I turned 50, I took videos and I just couldn't believe because I wanted to show my friends. Like I've done so many races where I'm in the back and not a lot of people are out there. But this race, the streets were lined. And because I had my name on my shirt and everybody was yelling my name, like I felt like I was in the Olympics or something. But I don't even remember what section, but like there were people out on both sides of the street and all you could smell was beer. Like the beer smell was everywhere. And buses and street cleaners were coming and it was like bumper to bumper and people had Frank Sinatra like in the background playing and whatever and people are still high-fiving us as we're going. And I just pulled out my camera and I was filming because at first I was like, oh, this sucks. And then the energy, I was like, oh my God, I was like crying because I'm like, I've never experienced this kind of energy at a race. And then I don't know if it was a month or two later, Runner World magazine wrote an article about the back of the pack people and what we need while we're out there. And I was in the magazine. My picture was in the magazine. And so I was like, I made it. No. But it was like, and there I am with my camera, like my phone, and I'm like smiling and I'm doing all these things. And it was like, that's the little things that make it, special,
Yeah.
you know, super special.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Oh, I love that so much.
I
So
could
much.
just go on and
And
on. Sorry. I'm
that's
just,
why I love the World Major so much because of that excitement. You cannot
Mm.
beat that. And you don't get it. I don't think you get it. You can get it if you spectate, right? Like I say, I think spectating is
Mhm.
amazing and you can feel that energy and there's nothing like I think even spectating might be better because then you see so many other things that you miss as a runner. But running those courses with that
Mhm.
energy, like when people say like what is it like running Boston? I'm like there is nothing like it in the world. Same with New York, same with Chicago,
Mhm.
same with London, you know. We'll see about Tokyo. I hear it's quiet, a little quieter, but
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be just as fabulous as the other races, right? I
I feel
did
like just
see
being
something
in
that scares
Tokyo
me.
will be amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I saw a video and I was like, I thought I saw people with like I don't know if it's rope or like a line, like a finish line. And if you don't get to the mile markers, they'll just stand right there and cut people off. And I'm like, that gave me anxiety. I'm like, that's you gotta stay on pace or else they're gonna come and get you. I don't know
And
if that was real or not, but like you
I,
probably don't have anything to worry about. But I was like,
well, I mean, I'm not super fast. I mean, I'm pretty like average, but I think that I think what doesn't make me nervous is that I've done a bunch of marathons, so I know that I can do it. I feel like my body knows what to do, and I think no matter what, I'll make the cutoff. I think the cutoff is like 6.5 hours,
oh yeah.
6 hours. So I think I'll be fine. But I always take training seriously anyways, but I definitely will for this training cycle because I need to know that, or my body needs to know how the fuck to get to the end fast, a little fast.
Yeah. Oh, and then the other thing about that is like I always read like people's race reports from like the year before because you just never know if you're going to get into a race or not, right? And so my friend did it this past year in Tokyo and she said it was so hot and they weren't allowing you to carry something to be able to drink your water or whatever. And so she was a back of the packer. She made it. But I thought to myself, well, hopefully they work on that because a lot of people were like, because it's really humid there, and hopefully they'll. I'm assuming they'll listen because most world majors do, right? They like the feedback or whatever. But I'm like, I'm out there for so long. I got like the vest with like two things of water here and things in my pockets. And I'm like, I need to, I have to have something to drink and a lot of liquid, like I sweat a lot. So I have to replenish everything. But like,
I
that made
thought
me
like
nervous.
London didn't have enough hydration. I thought like
Oh,
especially
really?
I don't know if it's a US thing, but like New York, Boston, I felt like every mile you have something, it was every two in London, which because of how hot it was that
Yeah.
day, I felt like was not enough. And I don't carry, so I rely on the course.
Oh, okay.
I'll
That
send
was one of the
pictures
first
on the
lessons.
water, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, one of the first things I learned when I first started running with that group of ladies, they were like, if you're a back of the packer, make sure you always have a container so you could carry water. And then they're like, and carry your own toilet paper. And I was like, well, what? And if it's been true, like all these years later, because especially if you're back of the packer and you have to use the bathroom, right? You just don't want to not be prepared or whatever. But we just have to normalize that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like literally.
Um, yeah, like no, seriously. So I always try to do that. Like even if you have something small in your pocket to carry a little bit of water in, because I know some races, if you have like your foldable cup or whatever, they'll fill that stuff up for you. They just don't want you bringing the other things with you. So that's always a good idea anyway, even if you're out training by yourself. Um, so yeah, the lessons of racing, right?
I
That
love
could
it.
be a whole nother podcast.
Well, I'm so glad that we had this discussion because I know we've been talking about intervals and I know you use them and so many other amazing runners do as well. And I mean, to get yourself to 100 miles 2 times. I mean, with or
Yeah.
without intervals, that's
Yeah,
fucking ridiculous. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. But you never know what you're capable of, right? Like you have to. Life is so hard sometimes, and it's like I think running just mimics life, and you could learn a lot. So like when I have to remind myself, like when things feel hard, like because things are a lot has happened in the last 5 years to me. So I just try to take those lessons from my running, and I'm like, if I can do that and just apply that to my life, it just makes it a little bit easier, right? Because if you're out there and it sucks, you have to problem solve. And so that's just how life is, right? Like you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and hope for the best. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay too. You just keep moving forward. So,
And I mean, how perfect is the interval example in sort of doing things imperfectly, right? We have this vision that like
mhm,
running without walking is perfect. Well, fuck perfection. And think of how many, I
right.
just wonder like if someone was out there and heard you say that I do intervals and I got to 100 miles, like how far could you go if you just embraced imperfection in life or in running? Where would it take you? And like, even just
Mhm,
going back to before we started recording, and I said to you, like, if I edited these podcasts, I don't know that I would get them out there because it would just take me too long. We
mhm.
have to just embrace imperfection and doing things instead of doing them perfectly, and I won't do them until it's perfect.
Oh yeah. And like I think that is such an important message too, because sometimes people like even if you look at like the current way that the world is right now, and then if you look at people like, oh, I crossed this finish line and everything's perfect, like it discourages people from trying, but we have to normalize what you're doing to get there because it could hit a nerve with somebody who needs help, or even yourself. If someone says, thank you, like I appreciate that you shared that, and then you're both benefiting from that thing, like I'm a curvy runner, and um I've over the years I've heard everything, and it's like, but I'm still out there running, like I never stopped. And I think it would be nice if people could see that message instead of, you're sucking in your stomach, and there's a whole other thing around it. But like, you know, I don't know. It's just life lessons you can carry with you. You're absolutely right. Like, it's not about perfection, it's about showing up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. Can I put your Instagram in the show notes so that people can follow
sure.
you? And all right,
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
And join the fun and see what you're up to next.
Yeah. Maybe I may be running something else soon in the near future, and everybody can follow along.
Yeah,
It'll
that'd
be
be
fun.
so fun. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you on the gram.
Thank you for having me. It was great talking to you.
Of course. I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for being here. If this spoke to you, or if you know someone who talks shit about runners, or no, talk shit about walkers, or maybe talk shit about themselves walking, because I know a lot of people can do that, send this to them. Send this to someone that you want to share the joy of intervals to, or the embracing of walking, or the embracing of imperfection, because that's really what it is, right? We get these ideas in our heads about the way that things should be, and walking has played such an important role in my journey, and I'm here for it. So thank you guys for being here. Screenshot this episode, tag me in your Instagram stories, buy your It's Your Effin' Journey, the podcast swag gear. That's all in the show notes, along with all the offerings for Black Friday. And I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Mwah! See you next week.